This is Oilersnation Radio, your one-stop shop for everything Oilers. 1 hour of straight hockey talk with Bagged Milk, Tyler, Liam, Rick, and Dan starts now.
New sound effect just dropped.
Gotta put some WD-40 on BM's mic stand.
I was just wondering how many of those you're going to be able to do before he looked up at you.
It was 4 or 5.
Are we broadcasting from a pirate ship?
I was staring directly at you. I was staring directly. It is my knee. Lower back. Knees are fine still. Lower back, though, is an issue. Welcome, Oilersnation Radio. Liam has decided he hates the podcast, so he's not here.
Bussing it to Winnipeg.
What's he doing in Winnipeg?
Go watch some kids play hockey.
Testing the cheeseburgers. Minor hockey rinks.
It has been a long time since we've seen a cheeseburger review. Liam is dropping his bits.
He is. He doesn't do the banana thing, and he keeps going, it's only for playoffs, only for playoffs. He hasn't done a cheeseburger review in forever.
Yeah, this is...
When's the last time you ate a beet, though?
Oh, 4 or 5 years ago? Yeah, whenever
even just for leisure?
Fucking hate
There's
them.
no such thing as beets for leisure.
No.
Waz posted a big borscht video the other day.
Yeah, he keeps being like, oh, what if you tried my mom's borscht? I'd be like, you don't want me to throw up in front of you and insult your mother that way.
Yeah.
I think I have eaten beets in passing. Like if it's in a salad and I'm too lazy to pick it out, I'll do it. But I don't want to.
I'm not going out of my way to eat them, that's for sure.
No. My dad has a big garden at his he's retired. What else he got to do? He's got a big garden. Every year he drops off beets at my house. Just 1 or 2. Just because he thinks it's funny.
Yeah, so you can just hear him giggling to himself as he's walking through the door.
He's having a good time. Like I'll come home from work and there's just 2 sitting on my... No, you took them all the way to the city to do this.
Please tell me he puts down 2 beets and a carrot on your front step and walks away.
That would be a way funnier joke. He's not that evolved. No,
dang.
No, he's going to keep this bit going until he can't garden anymore, I suppose. So forever. Tyler, you're on Delicious Debate. Prepare yourself while I read this ad for our friends at Odd Company. Proud to partner with Odd Company to bring you the all-new Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Perfect for the next big game, like tonight, Clinchmas Eve, or your next go-to lager, just because it's the last Friday of the week. Find it at Odd Company at either of their 2 Edmonton locations or at liquorconnect.com. It's like a search engine. Just type in Nation Beer Everyday Lager. It'll tell you all the liquor stores near you that sell it. And if there are none, you got to ask them why.
Wouldn't last night have been Clinchmas Eve? Today's Clinchmas.
I guess. Fine. Your semantics
are
argument
get caught
is
up in the technicality.
I can't control it. My brain just gets itchy.
Well, but you're not sure if it's going to be.
We're
Clinchmas
assuming
tomorrow.
it is. We got.
If you win tonight, tomorrow is technically Clinchmas.
No, we clinched tonight though, which would be today.
But this would be the eve in which we clinched.
Yeah, but if we're comparing to Christmas Eve.
But then if you're doing it that way, then
Clinchmas
Wednesday was
night.
Clinchmas and we already missed it.
No, today be
The
Clinchmas.
Grinch stole it on Wednesday.
They did.
Because the Flames.
The
Lost
Flames
an
tried
OT.
to do their best to help us
Did their
get
thing.
into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just couldn't get it done in regulation. Tyler,
Delicious Debate.
Delicious Debate. Clinchmas Eve or Clinchmas? All right.
So again, injuries, big theme in the final quarter of the season, you could call it. I don't think anyone's concerned about McDavid. I don't think anyone's concerned about Draisaitl or Nuge, but I do think there are a few players that maybe you could be concerned about. Stuart Skinner is only going to play 2 more games before the end of the season.
But he's dressed tonight.
But he is dressed tonight, yes. Mattias Ekholm is going to play tonight, but he isn't.
This will be his 5th game in a month.
Yeah, 5th game in a month, 34 years old. Hasn't played his best hockey yet this year and has been continually banged up or sick.
What is wrong with him?
No one knows.
It's North Korea over there.
Yeah.
Keep it quiet. I like it.
Trent Frederick is now out until game 1 or 2 of the playoffs after re-injuring.
I did see
something.
the or 2 today.
Not great.
Not
Evander Kane hasn't played all year. Out of those 4, which one are you the most worried about heading into the playoffs? Skinner, Ekholm, Frederick, and Kane.
To me, it's easy. It's Skinner just because all eyes point at the goalie no matter what. And when things go well, the goalies don't get the credit unless it's a shutout. If things go poorly, it's always the goalie's fault. Again, there's many angles to that. We've talked about a million times. Team needs to score. They need to defend, all that stuff. But to me, it's Stuart Skinner.
If we're talking injuries though, then I don't think it's Stu because he's backing up today. If he was not healthy, he just would not be on the bench at all.
I guess what's the context of your question? Like most concerned how?
Most concerned that their injuries could linger into the playoffs.
Then I changed my answer.
That they might not be at their best come playoffs.
Then I'm changing my answer.
For Derek.
I'm going to Ekholm. He is such an important piece of the defense. Now, the depth of the defense is way better than it has been, for sure. But he's going to be a key cog in the wheel. And if he's not playing his best, that's really going to hurt.
The thing about Ekholm is he was playing. He never went down with an injury and like, I can't play anymore. He was playing and he's playing big minutes and all his normal type of game. You just noticed in his game that it wasn't the same. So I think they kind of just, all right, go and like figure stuff out here. He could have played in the play. He could have kept playing through everything, I think.
But he's missed like a month.
But I think we've been doing that with everybody. Like Connor could have come back weeks ago, maybe 10 days ago. And we've been very secure with where we are in the standings that they just want to be super duper healthy. And what that means, we're in a wild card spot. Odds are it wasn't going to happen. If it means we're in third, that higher odds, it was going to be that way. We want to be healthy. We've gone into the last two where Leon's had stuff, Nurse had stuff. Connor had an abdominal type of thing last year. We want to erase all of that. And if that means we just keep giving guys nights off and they're not doing anything and they're just getting healthy, then it's going to pay off come April 20th or 21st when we start getting going. So the one lingering one would be Trent Frederick, because I do believe everyone else is going to play before. My only question is Ekholm, is he actually playing tonight? Or are they going, let's see how you feel with a game?
They have him slated on the third pair.
That was just the Twitter thing, so I don't know how much I believe in that. Like that's what I guess the
or is it they're going, okay, we don't trust you to play 20, but let's see how you feel. Go play 12. His usage tonight will really determine my answer, I think.
Usage and just, I guess, his gameplay overall.
Yeah.
So along the same point, it was kind of the same as when Connor came in last minute as a surprise the other day. I was really curious to see how much they were going to play him. And as it turns out, it was just a normal night.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he would have played if Wallman played. Right? If they don't pull out Wallman.
But that's counter to what you've been saying, that they're just resting guys because they don't care, whatever. If they didn't care about beating, saying like...
No, I just... They would have... I think they continually leave Connor out and just let him get to like 98 and 99 and 100%. You're like, hey, you can go in and play right now, but what's the point? We can just give you a couple more games off. And then he's like, hey, listen, we can't go 11-5. Like, put me out there and all right, fine. You know what? Go play your game. And
Dan, which player concerns you the most?
The more I listen to this conversation, the more I am concerned about Mattias Ekholm, just because of the fact that if I am to believe what you're saying, Rick, that they were resting guys because they were banged up, I think that
you over-ripen them.
Looking back at Ekholm's whole season, I don't know how he was sent to the Four Nations. If that was the case, that he was banged up this year and that they needed to rest him, I don't know why they sent him there.
I think you get a veteran thing at that point where they kind of like, okay, do you think you can handle it?
Yeah.
I think I can handle it. All right, you kind of earned this, right?
Yeah.
Sidney Crosby-esque.
Yeah, I could get on board with that. My answer will be Evander Kane, though, just because I think that this team is going to rely more on or need more out of him than he perhaps can bring at this point. I look at this squad and still see a need for goal scoring, and Evander Kane needs to be that guy, and it's yet to be seen as to whether he can do that or not. This is basically just going off the fact that we've had zero updates from him since he put out the subscription service on Instagram.
Think it's probably because he's technically ready to go. And if we just don't bring up his name, nobody asks, and then we don't get forced into the LTIR fucking issue.
Knobloch did say that that Kane will be ready to go for the playoff opener, that he's like the closest of the bunch or whatever. Even
I'm curious to see if he does. So I've always been against him going down. I've always said I don't think he will go down to Bakersfield for a couple. I think it'd probably be helpful, but I don't think he would do it. But we're actually seeing it out of another superstar going down.
Landeskog just did it.
Right? So he's going down and playing his first one. So maybe that kind of like...
But that is his first game in 2 years.
Yeah, but
it's his first game in over 3 years.
Or 3 years.
Three seasons?
Yeah, he the last time he played was 2022 when he lifted
crazy.
the cup. It's been over 1,000 days since he played, never mind an NHL game, a hockey game.
That's crazy. But because he does it, I could maybe that makes it a little bit easier for Kane to do it.
The difference though would be, and this is now back to a conversation we've had a bunch, Colorado's AHL affiliate is in Colorado.
Oh, is Bako up here?
No
BC, no Calgary.
No.
Who's the player that concerns you the most?
I think it might be Frederick, just because they brought him back. We saw the 7 minutes, and now they're doing the game 1 or 2 And it feels like they're building themselves into he's the only guy who we're getting the or two. And like, if he came back and played and is now so far away that it's like, ooh, he needs like, that's 10 days away, 12 days away. He basically needs another 2 weeks off now. That's concerning.
And I think it doubles down the fact that Knobloch really hasn't told the 100% truth this year. Like, he likes to do the whole political, like, I'll give you a little bit, but I'm not really telling you everything. And we go from Arvidsson. He's like, well, he's day to day to, I haven't seen him in 3.5 months. What do you guys know? And then we kind of see, Connor and Leon, it's going to be about a week and then up to a week.
And then Connor just wakes up from his afternoon nap and is like, fuck it, I'm going to play. Like, what?
It's just the way they keep telling us that stuff. You can get me on 2 or 3 times, but the 4th time I'm going to catch on and probably. So I hope we see Trent right away.
It's almost like if Knobloch says day to day, you got to times it by like 7 to 10.
There was a point where Knobloch was like, I forget who it was. Maybe it was Draisaitl or maybe it was the Draisaitl McDavid thing where he was like, yeah, they're day to day, but it'll be at least a week. And there's no timetable for their return. I'm like, what? All 3 of those are different things.
There's no timetable. There's no timetable for his return, but you'll probably see him next weekend.
Yeah. It's like,
wait, that is a timetable.
That's a timetable. And that's not day to day. That's out 1 week.
Yeah. That's 7 to 10. Come on.
I'm curious if you're listening to this, hit us up on socials. I'd like to know who you are most concerned about when it comes to the Oilers injury situation. Real quick, who are you most excited to see coming back from injury? I think for me, it might be Evander Kane just because he hasn't played all year. He hasn't been healthy in 2 and change. If he's actually healthy, and again, like Dan's point, who knows where you're going to get after not playing for a full season. If he's feeling even remotely healthy enough to go out and bang and crash, which is just part of his DNA, that'll be a major impact in the playoffs.
He does have to start doing this for himself too, because next year is a contract year.
He might find himself a free agent this summer.
Yeah. What I'm saying though, is he's got to start like thinking about his next contract.
Yeah.
And that starts on next Saturday, next Sunday, whatever the hell it's going to be.
When is the playoffs going to start? So the Oilers last
I think
game.
we start Sunday, probably.
I heard we start Sunday.
Okay.
Is that going to be an 8 o'clocker?
Probably. They're all 8 o'clockers, it feels like.
Yeah, because they'll probably do, because I mean, there's so many Canadian teams, right? So they'll probably do like a Winnipeg Edmonton doubleheader on Sunday.
They really set us
Not
up.
all the Canadian teams.
The stupid guys out west can't keep up. Way to go. Letting us down.
Actually, no, I bet you I think I read that wrong. They would probably do Toronto, Ottawa Saturday, and then Winnipeg is the night game. And then they would probably do like an Edmonton doubleheader with Montreal on the Sunday.
Winnipeg's almost the same time zone as Toronto, though. It was only an hour different.
I feel like the schedule makers with this last 2 weeks for the Oilers have really set us up for late night playoff games, though.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're definitely going to be late night. There's not a lot of West Coast teams out here, right? So it's welcome to our life.
We're in the Pacific time zone now.
Then you're going to have to look at what's going on in the Staples Center too, right?
Lakers are in the playoffs, but the playoff schedule is not out yet.
And they have home?
They do have home.
I believe they have home. Therefore,
4 seats.
They're probably going to be trying to squeeze them in at the same time.
As we saw last year, who knows what kind of random concerts are scheduled in at Staples Center or at Crypto as well. Even here, remember? We had to move because of Shania Twain.
Yeah,
Lakers Warriors round 1. That's electric.
That is fun.
Maybe we should go down for round 1, catch a Lakers Warriors game over.
No, I remember how much tickets were when we looked at Lakers tickets last year.
I do.
I don't care about basketball that much.
No.
They're slightly better this year.
Yeah, they were like, I remember there was something like $300 US to go to a Lakers game day. I was like, what?
It's like sit way the hell up.
Yeah,
there. And we were doing the thing where we're like, let's wait till tip off and see if they drop. And I was like, nope, they're not.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'd like to see LeBron. Not that bad.
Yeah, no. I was standing
I assume he's going to play until he's 80. All that time.
Keep getting those blood transfusions or whatever.
He'll end up playing the Stingers one day. Don't worry. We'll catch him.
I can't wait to see him on the
Center.
Celtics.
Like Canseco.
Yeah.
Like when Shaq was a Celtic.
Yeah.
The most well-known period of Shaq's career.
Canseco was
Coach Bronny's teams.
Canseco was a jerk.
Player coach, like in Slapshot.
There you go.
Have you, we did this on Real Life the other day, so I'll spare everyone the full thing. Have you checked his Twitter recently?
No.
He just keeps tweeting, stop paying taxes. He just keeps tweeting that like for a month now. He's just like, why don't people just stop paying taxes?
Well,
His train.
That's a bit of a question. You go attack everybody at once?
as somebody who's been audited before, don't do that. It's not fun. It's very annoying. You feel like a puppet for a year of your life.
Who am I most excited for? Same answer as who am I most concerned about? Trent Frederick. I just think if he's healthy, man, I think he's a game changer.
That's not what people on Twitter tell me to your replies.
Yeah,
you sold me a bag of goods, Tyler. So
yeah, people on Twitter acting like it's
This is your fault.
It's my fault. People are like, I can't believe Yaremchuk and Gregor were saying that the Oilers should acquire this guy. He's hurt. It's like, sorry, I don't check the Boston Bruins medical situation.
But why didn't you do that?
It was one call away.
Yep.
I think the player is just as surprised as anyone else that he's not healthy enough to play right now.
Tyler did not once call Don Sweeney and ask about that medical record.
He avoids the grind.
Mhm.
The player I'm most excited about is Stuart Skinner. I think that he went down. If you can go down with an injury at an opportune time, he went down at a time where his head was not in the net as much as it could have been or as it should be. So gave him an opportunity to just kind of watch the game for a few weeks, pause, and come back. And I think he'll be fine. So Stuart Skinner is my choice for
A little knee to the head, kind of align everything again.
You know, when your head's not all there, you might as well get knocked in it.
But yeah, no, you've definitely been struggling with the puck a little bit this year, and I do think a little time off can definitely be a huge bounce back. So
What are you most excited about?
if he bounces back to where 9-10, that's massive for us. So yeah, it's definitely Stu has the biggest upside, I believe, for us.
Let us know. Who are you most scared about? Who are you most excited about? That's the delicious debate for our friends at Odd Company. Moving along to the news, looking back at what's happened since the last episode, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Oodle Noodle who are celebrating their 20th anniversary. That is a platinum anniversary, Tyler. Platinum is a traditional 20-year anniversary gift. So Oodle Noodle is introducing platinum pricing. From today until the 20th, in-store and takeout only, you can get 2 signature boxes and 2 spring rolls for $20. The anniversary was actually yesterday. Oodle Noodle is turned 20. Go get yourself some noodles. I personally recommend it. Right now, I'm obsessed with the jungle curry. It's delicious.
Yellow?
Sorry?
Yellow curry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Tyler is a Tokyo Glaze guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well known.
Once
Dan?
in a while, mix it in with a ginger beef.
Oh, very nice. Dan?
General Sonny's chicken every time.
It is delicious. Rick? Go to Oodle Noodle.
Hot box.
Hot box
Beef.
is fantastic. That's my go-to. Jungle curry is just kind of trying to be the other girl in my life right now. You know?
Side piece.
Nothing wrong with that.
Want to talk about
Having
the
2 Oodle Noodle orders. That is.
Of course. Nobody wants one flavor. I want to look back at Connor McDavid's return. So as we mentioned, that day he was not listed in the graphic that was posted in the afternoon that showed an Oilers lineup that was interesting.
2010-ish.
Credit to Daily
9-ish.
Faceoff's Brock Sagan for sending that over to us.
Yes. It
And
was
then-
an interesting look. And then all of a sudden,
It's like Connor saw the post and was like, you know what? No.
like a phoenix rising from the ashes, Connor McDavid comes in. He gets 3 assists. He actually factored in on all 4 goals because he drew the penalty that led to Arvidsson's goal.
Oh, yeah.
So he factored in on all 4. What do you make of Connor's return, Tyler?
He looked about as good as he's looked all season. He was buzzing around, throwing in spin moves in the offensive zone. Obviously, he was uber productive with the 3 points, but I felt like he really controlled the game when he was out there. And, you know, even when he's been healthy this year, maybe he hasn't been 100% healthy, and I think it's hampered him a bit, but that was a really, really encouraging sign, a sigh of relief maybe to be like, okay, Connor still got it in him, and like he's ready to roll now. I have no doubts that we are going to get the best Connor McDavid we've seen this season in round 1 of the playoffs.
Let's talk about you, Dan. Connor came back.
Well, I think that's it. It's just the fact that he came back and it wasn't a tepid or timid return. It was just Connor McDavid being Connor McDavid, and you could kind of see the forwards were able to relax a little bit, and it just felt like the natural order was restored a little bit to this team. So yeah, I'm the fact that he just came back and it didn't feel like he missed a stride is important for this team right now, especially with the amount of players that are just kind of dropping like flies.
Let's talk about you, Rick.
And I think that is an example of why they're sitting everybody out the way they are right now, is that you saw what happened. You saw who Connor was when he stepped on the ice there. And I think you're going to see the same type of thing out of all these guys when they come back.
Connor came flying out of the tunnel.
But it was hilarious. Like, you look at that roster, and then, like I said, his name didn't get popped in till Wallman got popped out. But that roster was terrifying. And you took one forward, threw him in there, and we outscored perhaps the hottest team in the league right now.
Do you think that the other angle too is that it felt like he raised the tides for everyone? like Dan said, everybody just kind of relaxed a little bit.
Yeah,
but they were also super productive.
Yeah, but you don't have to. You can like find your role. You don't have to. Someone doesn't have to carry the puck across the blue line. Somebody doesn't have to go around that one defenseman. Somebody doesn't have to do whatever that Connor just does with his eyes closed.
They can just have 7 shots.
They can just go to their spot and play their game. And with what we've seen out of our scoring right now, which we would call secondary scoring, but because everyone's been hurt, it's kind of been just our scoring. With the way those guys have been playing lately, if we get Connor back doing what he does, and we just saw it, and we get Leon back doing what he does, and I'm assuming that's exactly what we're going to see. And if we can get some production out of Kane and Frederick, those guys keep doing their thing. Like they're going to be really hard to stop.
The other thing I loved, and this isn't necessarily Connor specific, is that the goals that got scored were just hockey goals, like ugly playoff type goals. Puck holes and parked in front of the net.
But you needed a little bit of luck. How many times this year have we seen like pods do that exact goal and it goes off the post and out? Or off the post.
Create your own luck too, though. He was
in the right spot, but there's so many times where we've gone post out. That went to inside the post.
Net, in the back of the net. I just think they were like, and it goes back to the game. I know they lost against Anaheim, but Henrique scored that goal where he kind of deflected it almost accidentally through his legs or on purpose. I'm going to say it's on purpose. Shout out to you, Rico.
Things are starting to turn around.
That is playoff goals. You got to get, like Tyler said, create your own luck, create your own chaos. Getting to the net does that. And they've been doing it a lot more in the last handful of games. More of that.
And that was a big problem I had with the team kind of a month ago. It's like, it was just so perimeter. It's like they were getting zone time. They were possessing the puck, and then it would be like, shot that gets blocked, shot that goes wide, shot that the goalie sees, rebound in front, no one there. And the last couple of games, I've seen sort of a change in the mindset here. They're a bit more decisive with the puck.
The other thing that's happening again, Connor Brown heating up at the right time of year. Made him the 10th player with 10 goals or more on the Oilers. What do you think it is about the end of the season that just Connor Brown's like, yep, here I am?
Yeah, I mean, also his celebrations were great. Like as much as he's struggled to score in his Oilers career, he is like a little bit of a fan favorite. Like everyone really likes to see him succeed. I guess where I wouldn't mind taking the conversation is, what would you make of the idea? Like McDavid, Skinner, Brown looked good the other day. Would you run with that for the playoffs in the name of spreading everything else out nice and evenly? Or do you just not trust Brown and Skinner to play that heavy of a workload?
I think like you'd want to try it.
I'd trust Skinner more than Brown. You really don't have anyone better than Skinner to put there, or it's an argument, but there is no argument in terms of Hyman over Brown.
Where would you put Hyman in your hypotheticals?
I don't know. I mean, to do the full exercise, I guess, if you wanted to, again, the name of really spreading it out, Draisaitl and Hyman, they haven't traditionally worked all that well together, but like, would you like a Draisaitl, Hyman, and if he's healthy, Trent Frederick, Evander Kane? And then you have a third line that could be Nuge, Podkolzin, and Arvidsson. And then a fourth line that's Henrique with Perry and Kane.
Yes.
It's four dangerous lines, but it starts with just kind of, I guess, trusting that Skinner and Brown can do what's needed next to McDavid. And McDavid can, in a way,
I think Skinner can. I'm a little bit more worried about Brown.
I think it just comes down to what Connor McDavid wants in that situation. And we obviously can't answer that, but I would say that I would love that lineup just because the opportunity for Jeff Skinner is there. And obviously you'd like to have, I think, a more talented player, more offensively talented player than Connor Brown in that spot. But Connor McDavid raises the level of all boats on his line. So
I could see it being Skinner, McDavid, Hyman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Skinner, McDavid, Perry?
No. Maybe so every now and then, but that's too much for Perry.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But you can sprinkle some shifts in there 100%.
How about Corey Perry dropping the mitts again?
How about Jordan Binnington?
Oh,
I mean, but had some right to be angry because he did get kicked in the face.
Yes.
But
get over
credit to Waz initially tagging hockey fights in a clip where it cut the entire knee part out and just showed Binnington punching the guy in the back of the head. I had to nix that one.
Where was the spotter?
I noticed that too.
He literally grabbed his head afterwards. Where's the spotter now?
Because he popped up that quickly to like go Binnington mode.
So we've seen Skinner get pulled, I think 3 times in the last year.
It was 2 in quick successions.
2 in quick succession. I think once last year against Pittsburgh too. Either way, or maybe it was earlier.
Yeah, it was something like that because the other goalie didn't face a shot, but they had like split the shutout.
Yeah. Have we ever seen the other team's goalie get pulled for a concussion spotter? I can't remember a game, and that might be selective memory. I understand that, but like I do not remember ever seeing a goalie on the other team get pulled.
I'm the wrong
like,
person to ask.
Binnington got hit in the face he got kicked in the face.
But I think you said it there when the fact that he didn't stay down, and it's the goalie's head. It's the goal, but it's not staying down. He's not laying on the ice. He's not moving. Skinner did that both times that he went down with his injury. And most of the spotting calls that I've seen, again, like you said, probably selectively, anecdotally, have been when the goalie milks it, whether that's real or you feel like it's perceived to be fake. It's when the spotter comes in.
The spotter dropped the ball on that one. The goalie got hit in the head, grabbed his head. They don't say shit. You're not actually out there to help anybody. Well, I am very annoyed that we didn't take advantage of this. They have a goaltender who's on the brink of losing his shit. The first thing I would have done, I would have went and drank out of his water bottle. He would have dropped a shit in his crease. Every single time he had the puck, I would have stopped right on that line. I would have had something to say every time I went past him. Like I would have had him in the loony bin by the end of the second intermission.
Your tweet made me laugh.
Easily. Don't even pay me. We're down a forward. Put me out there and just let me do that. And if I get beat up, I'll take it. No problem.
A little Sean Avery tactics.
But a lot. You've got a goaltender. You've got a weapon, right? You've got a bullet in the chamber. Use it.
Yeah.
Make them snap. Remember J.S. Jaguar and Ryan Smith a trillion years ago?
Of course.
I really liked the Oilers game there. I thought they did well to keep.
You've got a goaltender who's losing his mind, getting his grill. We already know that Binnington is a type of goaltender who you can get him off his game.
But I don't think they would upset their future.
Bring me Brad Marchand. That's why I wanted Marchand here so bad, because he's the first guy who would have done it. And then you don't get the elbow to the back of the head. You don't get that little, whatever, the jersey grab that they got away with. Mm-hmm. And then it turns into a goal.
That was nuts.
Yeah,
that whole Skinner sequence
inept officiating nuts. Again.
He got 2 or 3 penalties against him in quick order.
And he gets the 10 because he says
it was nuts.
Because he says to the Zebras, do your job. You get paid, do your job.
Bananas.
And they don't because they're not good enough.
How are the Masters going over there, Tyler?
A couple of Canadians are in trouble.
How's Corey?
He just bogeyed.
So is that even for the day?
Even for the day.
All right.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to jump to quickly is because we got a game coming out tonight. It is Clinchmas Eve or Clinchmas.
It's also Fan Appreciation Night.
I thought that was the last game. The last game of the year, so Monday.
No, I think it's tonight.
I don't know.
It's usually the second last game, just because the last one they can still sell tickets.
So here are your lines for tonight. Leon Draisaitl practicing, is not expected to play, though the same thing was said about Connor. So who knows? So if you hear this and Leon played, it's not my fault. I'm just reading Bob Stauffer's tweet. Okay. Jeff Skinner, McDavid, Brown. That is your first line. Arvidsson, Henrik, Hyman. That is your second line. Podkolzin, Janmark, Perry as the third line. Jones, Philp, Kapanen as the third line because Nuge not playing, illness.
Yep.
With Nuge. Wallman also not playing, though he's a defender, and Frederick is obviously out. So your pairings are Nurse, Bouchard, Kulak, Stetcher, Ekholm, Emberson with Cam Dineen playing the extra reps at practice.
I don't love this second line. They got kind of caved against St. Louis.
Arvidsson, Henrik, Hyman.
They got outscored 2-0.
Any adjustments you would make?
No, I don't like that line, but they were also taking on the tough assignment of the Blues top line. So I think that's important context. And like first I was like, we'll put Arvidsson and Podkolzin together. But then I'm like, oh God, are you playing Hyman with Janmark as his center? It's like, that's ugly. There's just no better solution than what they have. I would like to see Philp and Janmark flip-flopped because I think Philp's a better centerman, but
I actually thought Philp played pretty well against St. Louis, actually.
I thought he had a really good game.
Arguably his best game. Mm-hmm. I know he didn't get a point, but
did he do enough to grab something?
I don't think so.
I think he played okay, but I didn't see him poke his head above everything else to because he needs to grab a spot right now. So even if it's for next year, what's his contract situation?
RFA.
Well, there's no point in letting him walk. You might as well just qualify him.
843 played. So that's 15 shifts, had 1 shot on goal and 44% on the dot. I actually thought he played well.
I thought he's noticeable. Like he's a big body who moves pretty well. So I don't know. I like Phil. I would be playing him as a center, like I said, over Janmark or higher up the lineup. But again, their Knobloch sees what Knobloch sees.
The other thing is, as we mentioned, Mattias Ekholm is going to be making his return tonight. What's a good night for Mattias Ekholm?
Playing 14 minutes and finishing strong in those 14.
Yeah, that's foot speed is probably what I'll be watching the closest. Not that it's ever going to be elite with Mattias Ekholm, but like as long as his speed doesn't have him looking out of place, then I probably won't have a lot of concerns about his game. And not really an overly physical guy, so I'm not really expecting that. He never really makes a ton of big mistakes. So like, but it's the foot speed for me. That's what's going to be a problem come playoffs if he is a problem, and that's an if.
He's had some mistakes this year, so I'm hoping to see kind of like get rid. And I don't know if they're injury induced or whatever, but it just his overall gameplay is what I'll be looking at for him.
The other thing I want to mention is not necessarily a lineup related item, but shout out to Calvin Pickard, Masterton Trophy nominee for the Oilers this year.
Yep.
It's his first ever 20 win season in the NHL. The most before this year was 15 with the Avalanche way back in the day. So a little shout out to Cal. Our pal Cal's doing the good work.
Who is doing that?
That's Waz.
Sounds like Waz is playing tennis out in our
Waz
main area.
That's a good one.
easing from like the bottoms of his feet out there.
Those are coming right out.
Unbelievable.
And he knows we're recording.
Swinging for the fences.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't do it right on the door.
Yeah.
You know?
He likes a little bit of attention.
Spray shot.
A couple other things. John Klingberg officially added to the LTIR. Yeah.
So I was curious about why this waited as long as it did. Someone said maybe they didn't have the proper medical records to like be able to say like he's actually this hurt.
He's an infection, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means,
It's
but-
annoying that he very clearly wasn't going to play and we couldn't call anyone up because he wasn't on LTIR. That's annoying to me.
Yes. Also, you know, I'm being nitpicky, which I tend to do. Would have been nice to have that cap space at the deadline.
Yeah, that was a bad bet.
They swung. I'd rather them swing and
they
miss.
swung at a pitch in the dirt.
I'd rather them swing and miss than leave the bat on their shoulders. What was the GM's name? They never did anything.
Steve Tambolini.
Thank you. I'd rather you try something and it not work. And I don't care if it looks bad. I'd rather you try than not try at all.
If it was
And 2020 hindsight, I get, but I'd rather you make an attempt at something than not. And they made an attempt and then they corrected it by getting Wallman. That's well done.
But the attempt was costly because you went over $1 million. If it would have been $1 million, I wouldn't have cared. I would have been in your boat. Sure, take a stab, freebie. But 1.7 hurt you at the deadline because then you paid to retain on Frederick.
Do you gamble?
Nope.
Do you? Yeah, they gambled. They gambled. It didn't turn out, and they
doubled down when they got
and they won it
6.
They gambled. Yes. It didn't work out very well.
Battle of analogies.
They gambled. It didn't work out very well. But I'd rather them swing than not swing.
You guys are painting pictures. Keep going.
You can never be
metaphors everywhere.
Wayne Gretzky said it.
Do it.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
And then Michael Scott said it, and he's an idiot.
I thought you were going to say, "Is there poo on my face?" I thought.
How dare you call Michael Scott an idiot? He was very good at selling.
He was. Started his own
Anyways,
company.
it's frustrating, but it's not the end of the world because you're right. They got Wallman.
They took a swing, didn't work, and fixed it.
But what about Cam Dineen's development?
I liked Cam Dineen in that one game.
I did too, actually. Yeah.
Yes. However, everything you liked about him was inside their zone. Correct. That's a forward's job. And
What did you like about Klingberg?
Not a lot, but everything he did was like below their hash marks too. Like he got below their goal line a couple of times. Cool, but I need like a little more of our own end.
But if he had been here and we could have slotted him in instead of Stetcher into the forwards, I'm just saying. If it wasn't for John Klingberg.
I was interested to see if they were going to tell a forward to play D like we do in beer league sometimes.
Sometimes you got it.
It's like, guys, we're short D men tonight.
Who would have been your pick?
Who would have been my pick?
Well, for the record, it's a left-handed shot down, but playing the right side.
I probably would have picked Janmark. You know, the Golden Bears had to do this year. They had a player who got hurt in warmups and they didn't have any other healthy defensemen. So they called one of their healthy scratch forwards and he was apparently still at home eating Subway. And they were like, you have to get down here because you're playing. He's like, all right. Shows up to the rink and they're like, oh, you're playing D. And he's like, I've never played defense in my life. And he was so good at it that he played D the rest of the year.
Wow.
The Dustin Bufflin
Sometimes
effect.
you got to flip them.
Yeah, sometimes you flip them.
Sometimes.
Well done, Jay.
Which forward do you pick? Play D if you had to.
I do like the Yanni.
I actually think that's the pick.
I think, he's got the speed. I think he's very, very well defensive.
Jeff Skinner's good on his edges. He could probably skate backwards pretty well.
He is a beautiful skater.
Yeah.
I may have looked at a right-handed shot though, just because you got to play the right side. And if you're playing defense and you're playing on your offside, you're like doubling down
Maybe
on the
Rico.
difficulty level.
He's lefty though.
Who?
Rico?
Oh yeah.
I think if he had a little bit more size, I would say Connor Brown.
He's probably the same size as Emberson.
But he doesn't play.
Nope. 100%.
He doesn't play big.
Defensively
Not
where?
that big.
Shout out to Connor Brown. What are you doing over there?
Stretching.
I think he's farting.
Yeah.
No,
that's
I'm not
like,
farting.
I was
It's a
just like,
leather
I'm
chair. You
worried
hear it.
about you.
That's
I'm
what
worried
you're
about how much
like,
beer
let
you've
it
done.
out slow.
You hear
I
all
don't
my
know when you had
farts?
beers last. This is an enclosed space.
Well,
With the windows open.
There's not enough flow in the world to rid us of that torture. The other thing I want to mention, and this is something that I tweeted a while ago, but I just got shit on, but that's just Twitter. Darnell Nurse has quietly had 4 2-assist games in his last 10.
Wow.
Darnell Nurse started that game-winning goal. No
Darnell
one gives
Nurse
him any
made
credit
a
for fucking breaking up that
fantastic
breakaway.
play.
You just did.
I also did in my post game.
Did you? Well
Bag
done.
Milk did.
Breakaway, dives, makes the play. turns
No
around,
penalty.
Game winner. No penalty. Puck first.
Didn't knock the guy up. The guy didn't get knocked off the net either.
I just wish, and I know it's impossible, but I wish we could get to a situation where like you don't know that Darnell Nurse makes that much money. It's impossible, but he's playing good hockey.
Yep.
That's all you want.
The Oilers need him to play the way he's playing. So it drives me nuts when we can't give Darnell Nurse credit for when he does good things. So I'm doing it right now.
You
Shout out to
can. If
Daryl.
you took him and Hyman and put them together, I think you're paying fine.
Yeah, I mean, your mistakes need to be countered by quality signings. So I think that's a good point. The other thing too is for the Oilers never get a big save crowd. Pickard also stopped that puck.
Mm-hmm.
Nurse came back, broke it up, but like Pickard was right there, and he made some big saves in that hockey game, and he's continued to make big saves.
he had plenty of good saves in that game.
Yep. Even against Vegas, he stopped one late. Like there's a couple of these wins that have Cal's fingerprints all over.
I'm doing this off the dome. I don't remember exactly what it is. I need Jack Michaels to extract me on the broadcast, but I'm pretty sure he's 13-2 in games after he's lost.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Something like it's 12-2, 13. So it's in that window, give or take. Where are you, Jack? I want to steal your stats. The other thing we mentioned, Cam Dineen recalled on an emergency basis. He looked good in his first appearance. I don't know if he's going to play. Probably not, but kind of like to have him around. Right.
Maybe that last game of the season.
That last game.
I'm curious to see who's going to play in that last San Jose game. Like, are they just going to be like, all right, Bakersfield, jump on the bus and just
No,
drive up
you gotta
there?
go. You gotta go Golden Bears or Oil Kings.
I think Rick might
leave.
draw.
Yeah, if I can get the night off, I'm in.
Well, if they're not playing until Sunday, I mean, I think you can play guys on Wednesday. As much as you're worried about injuries, like
Some of these guys are going to want to play because they haven't played.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I think we might see a pretty full lineup for that game. We might see a world where McDavid plays 12 minutes and Janmark plays 19, but I think we'll see guys play.
Yeah,
I think we
fine.
saw that last year too, didn't we?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to mention is that the PDO Kings, Vancouver Canucks, eliminated from the playoffs the other day.
Womp womp.
Hate to see it.
Isn't there a button for this?
Sorry, Quads. Well, I can come up with one.
The big guy is smoking hot.
Maybe like, thank you. Shout out to PDO. And the reverse of PDO, which is what the Oilers are having most of the season.
You know what happens tonight then?
It's Clinchmas.
Yeah, but
And
it's double the joy.
double the joy, yes. If the Oilers get a single point in tonight's game in any fashion, Calgary Flames will also be eliminated from the playoffs.
And
You know what though? They always have this to rely on. At least they have their first overall draft pick this year, right?
wait,
Oh, did they move it? Oh, I didn't know that.
Montreal, because it is a protected pick and it is not going to be in the top 10.
Which trade was that
likely.
for?
That was to dump Sean Monahan's contract.
And then
Montreal
what did Montreal
turned around,
do?
Traded Monahan for first. And then Monahan got a big ticket in free agency.
That's awesome.
They do, to the Flames' credit, they do still have 2 first-round picks this year because they got Florida's and New Jersey's. But yes, they traded away their first.
So 2 playoff teams in the late first round.
Mhm.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So we're cheering for Jersey, are we?
Shout out to Calgary.
That Monahan
should have tanked.
Watch that hard.
That hurts.
That's a wild trade. It's almost kind of like, in a way, similar to the Jake Wallman one, where Steve Iverson paid to get rid of Wallman, only to have the Sharks flip him for something. Now the Oilers, it's to the Oilers' benefit.
Yeah, paid a second. San Jose got a second to get Wallman, then got a first to get rid of him. It's crazy.
And I remember, I think it was the start of this year, Flames fans talking about how like this was going to just be a lost season and that they were going to be in that draft pick order.
Most Flames fans are pretty pissed they are where they are, because it was like either be bad and be in the top 10 so we keep our pick, or make the playoffs and at least we get to make the playoffs. And they did neither.
So looking at the playoff race before we get some betting talk for our friends at Bet365. Currently, Oilers playing the Kings. No surprise there. Your two wildcard teams are Minnesota is in the first wildcard spot. St. Louis is in the second wildcard spot, though Minnesota has played one fewer game. Both have 93 points.
I would love to go back and see what we said about a month ago when we were talking about who we thought was going to finish in the wild card in the West.
I was a St. Louis guy.
I said
Rick's
St. Louis, but I think I said Utah.
I think I might said Calgary.
I was Calgary.
Yeah, I think I said Calgary because I was really hoping for a way that down the line there could be another Beal.
I think Minnesota is too far advanced that we only looked at one spot too.
Yeah, we weren't expecting Minnie to kind of plateau the way they did, which, to be fair, Calgary plays Minnesota tonight. They beat them. They have a game in hand. Minnesota gets Vancouver tomorrow.
Minnesota, you might as well win tonight. Make it a little easier for yourselves.
The interesting thing about Minnesota is they have a minus 11 goal differential. They're the only team in the West in a playoff spot with a negative goal differential. On the East, the only team with a minus goal differential in a playoff spot is the Canadiens at minus 17.
Are they not still running that dead cap too?
Who?
Minnesota.
Yeah, they are. I think it finally goes away this year. But
how much is it this year?
So this
is it still like 20 something?
This season they were running 14.6 million. Next year it goes down to 1.6. They got to sign Kaprizov.
What do you think that ticket looks like?
Oh no, Kaprizov's a year away still, but his
still like if they extend him this year, what does that
12-ish?
look like?
Draisaitl probably 14. He's their best player. They got to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't know how you get the Draisaitl amount.
I wouldn't even.
They were too close. Like, I mean, they're so close. I don't think there's enough gap or time in between to like stretch the market out.
I think everything's going to look different when Marner gets 15 from someone.
So in other words, Minnesota, go sign your guy right now.
Yeah, I would be signing everybody right now.
The Marner one's fascinating. Also in Toronto, whatever they pay Matthew Nyes is going to be interesting. He's a really good player. It's not going to be cheap though.
Yeah. And I love the offer sheet conversation around him. And the number one thing is like, oh, he would never do that to the Leafs. And it's like, what? He's like an American. Why would he?
Yeah. Like,
let's get his bag.
Storied franchise, Tyler. Come on.
Can you imagine though? You've got two Canadian teams that are going to lose. I mean, Vancouver's going to lose one of their best players for free.
Besser.
And Toronto's going to lose one of their best players for free. Maybe.
Actually, well, they have Marner, Nyes, and Tavares all need to get paid this summer. There's no way you can pay all three of them.
JT has already said he wants to go back, but it would have to be at a discount.
Yeah.
Whether they do it or not is a different conversation, but that is out there. Where would you think, just real quick before we move on to the betting segment, where is your pick for where Marner ends up?
Not here.
No, definitely not here.
The Islanders. Lou Lamoriello brings them back.
I could see him going to the Blue Jackets.
Or West.
The Kings?
Someone along the West Coast.
I can see the Ducks overpaying for him. Although, who knows if they actually want to do
Actually, I think you're right. Anaheim makes a lot of sense. They have some good centers. They need scoring on the wing. You could see Marner like in California.
Is Carolina not going to make a huge push for him? Using that space for Gensel and Rantanen?
No, they would have traded for him at the deadline and then let him walk away afterwards.
Yeah. Actually, I like the Anaheim pick BM. Columbus makes sense too, but I feel like he might be a guy who... I
don't want to live in Columbus.
Yeah, I think...
I can live where? Anaheim?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Tyler
please.
Toffoli gives him a call. He's like, buddy, it's great in San Jose. Nobody gives a shit.
No one roasts you for playing bad in the playoffs when you're out by February.
He's like, buddy, I've already booked tea times. I got a vacation. Next Sunday, I'm on the road.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tyler Toffoli.
I respect that move.
I'm looking forward to watching his tan today. He's very tanned.
It makes sense, but just looking at the Ducks, all their players are so tan. Their head coach was like the color of these bricks. Man. It was hilarious.
So is Gene, though.
Yeah, Gene.
Must be a lot of off-ice training. That's what it is.
Has to be.
Yeah, all that like
all right,
land
boys.
work.
Put them runners on. Let's get outside.
Yeah, it's the land work. Gotta go run on the beach. It's low impact.
They run all around the county.
That's how you make a team come together. We saw that in the second Top Gun movie, Maverick.
And the first Top Gun.
Well, I don't think I already said this brings a team together, but
And D2. They run around behind the golf
that is
cart.
true.
That's
Yep.
didn't they break out the rollerblades for that one?
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
But the opening.
Yeah.
I'm also I'm breaking this now, just so you guys know, we're going to do a little team bonding in the summer. We all pop our tarps off. We go play some volleyball,
I dig it.
you know? Or two-hand touch with 2 footballs like in Top Gun 2.
But you have to go get short jean shorts.
Running in jean shorts?
How else do you play volleyball? Come on. I'm going to go find Mainlander Tim's Gito. That's how I'm going to play.
Who wants to cover me?
Yeah, good luck. You're up in the net. I'm smashing. All right. Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. A Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app. Use the code NATION to get in on the game. The code is NATION. Must be 19 years old or older. Please play responsibly. So I'm going to walk through. So tonight's an interesting game if you're looking at the betting totals. I'm going to run through the mains, but then we're going to try and find some value in a game where it feels like you don't want to hit the mains. So coming into today, the Oilers play the San Jose Sharks. They're in last place, minus 450 on the money line. Logic for me would be putting a sprinkle on the Sharks because I find that line offensive. I will not do that.
What's puck line?
Puck line is only minus 160. So that's to win by 2 or more.
Yeah.
I don't like that either.
I'd be looking at that one, and then you got to sprinkle in some shots.
I like the Oilers team total. Minnesota gave up 8 goals to the San Jose gave up 8 goals to the Minnesota Wild.
Too, and that had 15 goals in it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't mind the idea of like, it's juicy, but like over 5.5, over 6.5.
Oilers team total? Oh, you're frisky.
I think they might win like 7-2.
Can we make the Jay Downton bet? What's minus 2.5?
So if you guys don't know, Jay on the Betway Game Day Betting Challenge is down 38 units on the year. So he's swinging hard to catch up, but he doesn't realize he can just do like a 40-1 parlay and be right back in the mix. He just swings for like 100-1 parlays. His parlay today was so long, he couldn't send it to me with a screenshot. He just sent it in MP4 format of him screen recording himself and scrolling.
How many legs?
I can read it to you.
Yeah,
please. Like here.
Yeah, I would love to know.
Should we sit around like a story time right now?
Yeah.
I feel like we might be here for a bit.
All right. So it was 80-1. He had Nurse 2 shots, McDavid 2 points, Bouchard point, Nurse point, Oilers over 4.5, Oilers puck line, Arvidsson goal, Podkolzin goal, and Bouchard 3 shots.
That's insane.
That is like,
You know what? Up until like the RV and Pods goals.
Yeah.
I was with him until then.
Yeah, you might have something going there, but
So like tonight, I kind of like same gaming. Over 5.5 goals for the Oilers. McDavid 3 points, plus 425.
Jay may as well just give Bet365 an auto withdrawal form from his bank account.
Yep.
what's minus 3.5?
Minus 3.5 on the day on the game. That is plus 240. So minus 3.5.
Nuts.
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
Minus 3.5 is the same as basically over 5.5 goals. So
Yeah.
I think I take over 5.5 goals.
The other thing I was looking at is I'm trying to find some value in a game like this. Like I said, I don't bet money line. I'm not going to do puck line. Over under set at 6.5 for the game. Over is minus 140. I think that is a reasonable bet. 6.5 is the over. Under is plus 120 if you're feeling it's going to be a little bit tighter. Connor McDavid power play point plus 110. Interested in that. Zach Hyman power play point plus 270. Interested in that.
I'm very interested in that.
So if I'm looking for some value, those are the kind of the areas I'm going in.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tyler, what was your bet today?
My bet today on the Betway, I went more aggressive than I usually do in terms of the number of legs, but I did McDavid 2 points, Arvidsson and Podkolzin each to go 3+ shots, over 6.5. Oilers minus 2.5.
What was Williams?
McDavid 3 points plus 240, which seems like actually a pretty smart play.
All right. There's a little betting talk for our friends at Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app and use the code NATION to get in on the game. Please be 19 years old or older. Please do so responsibly. Time for Ask the Idiots questions. You slid on into my DMs 3 times this week with a couple of different questions for the fellas. They haven't seen these before, so I'll get their first take on them. And I'm also going to tell you about Nation Gear is proud to partner the collab with Mobilize. The designs are inspired by Warrior Energy, spirit makers in the land we now know as Edmonton. The collection is more than just fashion. It's a way to give back. A portion of net proceeds from the Oilers Nation Mobilize hoodies and tees will benefit the Indigenous Sport Council of Alberta, who foster opportunities that celebrate Indigenous cultures, promote wellness, and build community connections through sport. Rick, I'm looking at you, so I'm going to start with you here. First question. Similar, we had one similar a couple of weeks ago, but he's maintained his play, so I felt it was relevant. Are you seeing more of the Victor Arvidsson you expected now that he's starting to heat up down the stretch?
I think the only thing I really like more, that I'm enjoying more, is the fact he's putting the puck in the net. I don't think his gameplay has changed all that much more, but he's having more success around the net, so that is 100% a yes.
Dan?
I think his gameplay has changed infinitely. I don't think he's so focused on trying to draw penalties as he is trying to be a part of the offensive solution. So it's been an improvement. I'm still hesitant to believe that it's going to stay consistent, but yeah, he's been improving.
I like that he's scoring from different areas, driving to the net, one-timers, going to the front of the net. He's just kind of doing it everywhere. He's showing that he's a dynamic scorer, which is, again, part of the reason why you would have felt like he was an upgrade over a Warren Foegele in the offseason. So if he can just keep up the scoring, yeah, I'm fine with it. You're a second line winger, paid to score goals. That's what I want to see from Arvidsson. I'm not worried about, like Dan said, drawing penalties, blah, blah, blah. He plays hard. That's never been a question. The finish is there now, so I'm happy with him.
I've also noticed that the rat is starting to come out a little bit more. He's finding himself in the crease. He's hacking away at goalies. He scored that goal in Vegas by digging in there. He's starting to do more of that stuff. And that is the Victor Arvidsson that used to annoy me a lot.
The change of the season.
It is.
Came out, saw a shadow, or didn't see a shadow, whichever one that is.
Yep.
And here he is.
Guinea pig.
Well, and it's agitation.
Groundhog.
it's agitation versus flopping and the again, just trying to draw penalties.
He hasn't been as Zamboni as much lately, I don't think.
He stayed on his feet more for sure.
So yeah, I think Victor Arvidsson, to answer the question specifically, is more of what I expected right now.
Yeah.
Going to the playoffs, if he can continue this, that's what we're paying for. And I think that will make a lot of the early season struggles long forgotten. This one comes in from Shane, who was listening to us on Tuesday. Listening to the podcast after the loss to the Sharks, and you guys are talking about getting goalied. At what point do we stop saying we got goalied because we had a lot of shots and start talking about why every shot is directly at the crest or the pads or with little traffic in front of the net? I see it as abysmal shot placement over elite goaltending. We make goalies look good by making it easy for them. Tyler?
I agree that they haven't been going to the net enough and getting those second chance opportunities. Like, I mean, even look at a guy like Zach Hyman last year. He would just be tapping him in the blue paint, right? They didn't do enough of that. I think that's absolutely it. Sometimes, yes, the Oilers do get goalied, but I actually kind of agree with Shane. I think sometimes they do a really good job of making it easy on these guys to at least get into the game early. And then after that, a hot goalie is a hot goalie. But I do think the Oilers could do a better job of playing that style early on.
Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that you can see it in a game, any of the games without McDavid and Draisaitl. The shot totals for the entire team are erratic. They're confusing. And it just feels like the team often is trying to find the offense from the perimeter or finding it from the wrong spots. And then, yeah, that's when you start getting those 46 and 47 shot totals that look really good, but
nice and sexy.
Yeah, when the quality of your shots is low and your shooting percentage is lower, it's an issue.
To me, it's before I get to Rick, to me, it's always kind of like, if a goalie can see it, he's going to stop it at this league for the most part. And I think that against the Ducks, they had too many where Dostal, who played very well, I'm not going to say he didn't, could see too many of them.
Down low.
Yeah, I don't really remember that one too well. there are definitely times where you get a lot of shots, but there are perimeter shots that are never going to go in. I don't remember exactly how these shots went in that specific game. However, if you get up to around 48, 49, if you're in the NHL, you should be scoring a couple.
Yep.
So hats off to the goaltender there, but Shane, you're definitely not wrong. There are some times out there, I can't remember exactly how that game went specifically, but there are definitely games out there where we just flutter him into the chest and we get nowhere.
I think there's like part of it he said in the question was you got to get traffic to the net. Shoot that many times. My thing is shoot from the parking lot, but like you got to create your own chaos. You got to be in the, like if Dostal drops it, you got to be there to bang it in. If there's nobody there, he's just going to clear it. Right. Yeah. Very important question. Starting with Dan. It's going to be a hard one.
Okay.
One Slurpee flavor to rule them all.
Oh man. Every time it's going to have to be the darker option, the darker brown of your Coke or your Pepsi.
Well, there's never a place that offers both of them, I don't think. So
there is.
Is there? Who offers
7-Eleven. 7-Eleven.
They offer both
time.
Coke and Pepsi?
Yeah.
Damn.
Ooh, I got to get in there.
Bloods
and
and
taste
Crips?
That's crazy. That's
wow.
And you just go for the darker of the two, meaning that one has a little bit more syrup to it.
I'm the Pepsi or the Coke, whatever you guys carry. That's it.
Dr. Pepper. If they offer
That's
it.
the elite flavor?
If they offer Dr. Pepper, I'm all over that. DP.
He doesn't even have a brand about DP in his life. He just wanted to say that.
Banana. Just kidding. Nobody likes banana.
Come on.
Crystal Light. No, nobody gets that either.
On a hot summer day.
No, you've
I'm
never
gonna
had
get a Slurpee today.
There's a
Never had
Gatorade.
a
There's a
Crystal Light.
Gatorade Slurpee out there that I don't think we ever get in Canada, or at least in Edmonton. And I don't know what like, did we do something wrong? Did we upset somebody?
Maybe.
Mountain Dew Code Red back in the 90s, elite. Now though, it's my rule is if Tyler goes to get a Slurpee and he says, "Hey, do you want one?" I'll just say, "Yep, anything brown." Easy. Whether it's a Dr. Pepper or Pepsi, I'm in.
Root beer?
What can brown do
I'll do a
for
root
you?
beer. Yeah. Root beer with a little ice cream in there? Come on. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Treat yourself sometimes.
A screamer with lime, though.
Oh, like if I can mix,
Lime and ice cream?
Yeah.
Well, that's
it's like a cream.
Screamer is even more of a like double down on the Pepsi or the Coke, whatever you got, and some vanilla in there.
If I could mix two flavors, I would love to do like a Sprite or a 7-Up with a little bit of lime on top. That's really refreshing.
Ooh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Maybe throw a little vodka in there.
Now you're talking.
Why are we still doing the pod?
I don't know. Oh, best Slurpee flavor, hands down. Frozen lime daiquiri when I'm in an all-inclusive. Ooh, delightful.
I do love crushing a good Long Island iced tea slush when I'm in Vegas.
Oh, come on. Frozen marg. Does that count as a Slurpee?
I'm
in.
all sorts of thirsty.
There you go. Slide on into my DMs, or you can email me at bagmilk@oilersnation.com. I'll ask the boys their first take on your questions for Ask the Idiots. All right. We've got nothing left. Okay. Hot and Cold Performers is presented by Tyler. Tyler's paying for this segment.
Hell
Paying for it with kisses and love. They're passionate. We're going to start with Tyler because he's paying for the segment. Starting off with our veggies as you always do. Last week of your life, Tyler. Cold Performer of the Week.
Cold Performer of the Week is Manny Gonzalez. Most of you will be saying, who the hell is that? He's the man who cost the Blue Jays a win last night. It was one of the worst umpiring performances in Major League history.
Oh, sorry. Did they not bring in that second baseman as one of the best defensive second basemen in the league?
Yep.
And he dropped that and couldn't get the double play?
Yeah, sure.
That's where I was like, wait a second. I thought his last name was Jimenez.
So there's that ump tracker account that follows every game, gives you an ump scorecard at the end, tells you how many calls they missed and who it benefited.
He was home. He was the home ump.
Yeah, home plate ump.
Yeah, he was.
There were 14 missed ball or strike calls in the game last night. 12 of them went against the Jays, and it resulted in an impact of 2 runs to the Red Sox. The Jays lost the game 3-2. It was bullshit. Manny Gonzalez, Cold Performer of the Week.
Dan, you're up. Cold Performer of the Week.
It's not an easy job to do, I'm sure, but I'm going to give it out to Jack for how fired up he got at the end of that Ducks game. Feel like there was some veins popping on his forehead.
This is such a good
and
call.
then it didn't come to anything. So it was just kind of like flat at the end.
But if they would have scored when they hit that post,
it
my
would
God,
have been
electric.
unreal. So Jack, just for your call and hype up at the end of that Ducks game, just not working out for you, was my Cold Performer of the Week.
Oh, that's cold.
Rick, you're up.
I'm going to double down on my last 2 of the last 2 weeks just because it really annoys me. So the people are screwing up downtown Edmonton trying to drive, and then the political people make that all their personality. But this week, I had this happen to me in front of me the other day, and it irate. Do not unroll your window and throw your cigarette butt out on the fucking street.
Yes.
Have more respect for where you live, the people around you, the people have to clean up. That is disgusting. Mm-hmm. And the person driving that vehicle ahead of me, I hope someone takes a dump on your living room floor and leaves it.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived. We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled.
The repeat.
That was infant loop.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith had a lot to say there. Cold performer for me is the refereeing has just been, it's generally bad. We complain about it a lot, but there's the Jeff Skinner thing from the last game. Absolutely awful. There was the way they completely lost control the game before. They were calling nothing and then they were calling everything to try and overcompensate. It just annoys me that the best hockey league on earth, this is what they accept.
That's the right sound.
Yeah, I actually agree with that sound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, let's reverse the order. Tyler, you're up first. Oh no, Rick's up first. Hop from the
good. Masters weekend. Golf is back in Edmonton. Let's go clean those clubs up. And that's, I'm going for 25 rounds this year, but I'm looking to break 80 at least twice. Done it once.
Big guy is smoking hot.
Dan, hop from the week.
Well, I'm sorry, Rick. This one's going to be one that you're probably not going to like. This week, I did something that I've never thought of doing before, or never really occurred of doing. And I volunteered with a political party and went and did some door knocking in Edmonton. And it doesn't matter what team I was going for, but it was just important. And it was really nice to be able to engage with Edmontonians of all different stripes. And whether we disagreed or we agreed, we were able to have some good conversations. And I really enjoyed it this week. So my ability to go out and knock on over 250 doors of Edmontonians and have some conversations was my hot performer of the week.
He's a hot guy.
Tyler, yep.
I'm not changing mine. It's the Masters. I'm unapologetic about my love of the event. I love golf season. This is always the official kickoff to golf season. I walk around with my iPad most of the day, watching all my players hit their shots. I wager a lot of money on it. I just love everything about it.
You told us you didn't bet.
I love and I'm golfing tomorrow too. And I golfed yesterday. I think I might go for 60 this year.
Rounds. 60 rounds?
Yeah.
60 rounds.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I'm off to such an early start. I'm going to have round 2 in before April 12th.
That's what I get.
And
you're taking the iPad out tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll have it on the cart. We don't tee off till 3, but also I'm going on my honeymoon is 6 rounds of golf in 10 days.
I'm surprised not 11, but that's fine.
Pour it on.
That's 6 booked so far.
Congratulations. Going golfing.
I love golf. I love the Masters.
I'm an idiot. So my hot performer of the week is a mistake I made that ended up being awesome. Last Friday, I went out drinking with my buddies. Won some money in the Flirts, which is always fun.
Always.
Gotta love that. Paid for my night out. Shout out to the Flirts. 2, when I got home, I have a PS5 and I like just different games. A lot of sports games. Love those. I decided after many cocktails that I was going to download the WWE, the 2K25, whatever that version of it is.
That's what it calls.
It's so much fucking fun. I haven't watched wrestling since I'm probably 13 years old. I don't know who most of the people are in this game.
Who was your last champion? Do you remember?
My last champion.
Like the last time you remember
probably like Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's been a minute.
You suck.
So I download this game. The next morning I go, what have I done? And then I play it. Man, it's fun. I don't care who anybody is, but like teaching me how to pull ladders out from underneath the ring and throw people off them. It's great.
Create a character mode.
Create a character mode. I've already done it. He's got, kind of looks like he's from the Black Hole from the Vegas Raiders. That's what my guy looks like. He's great. So shout out to drunkenly purchasing a game that ended up being very fun. Shout out to me. Thank you.
What? Yeah!
There you go. Finally, let's wrap it up. 2 key items left. We got a key to victory and a score prediction. Rick, I'm going to ask you for both. Key to victory and a score prediction.
Tonight, you're playing the worst team in the league, lowest in the. Just grab them by the throat and don't let them go. And let's go with a nice 6-1 win.
Dan, I'm looking for a key to victory and a score prediction.
Stay healthy My score prediction is 4-1 Edmonton.
Tie guy.
Kill them early. I want 5 shots in the first 2 minutes.
Kill them.
And
Yep.
yeah, my score prediction is 7-2. I think they smoke them, and Rogers Place is going to be buzzing tonight.
I'm going to say key to victory, just because they stink, don't play down to that level. You're the better team. Like Rick said, put your foot on the throat, choke them out. Score prediction, you're really going to enjoy an 8-1 win on a Friday. Merry Clinchmas Eve or Clinchmas.
Say hi to our old friends on this team.
That's right. Shout out to Klim if he's playing.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.